we come to the part of the book that we've been waiting for 130 pages. And this is the part in which he finally realizes, 10 years later, that Mummy is actually dead. The Rugby World Cup is taking place, and it's taking place in Paris, where he had never been. And I'm like, you are in your 20s and you've never been to Paris and you live like a hop, skip, and a jump away. What is wrong with you? Okay, that's crazy to me. Anyway, he'd never been to Paris, but he's going now. And when he gets to Paris, he suddenly has this brilliant plan that what he's going to do is go down the tunnel where Mummy died, because he needs to see the scene of the crime. He needs to see that dark, twisty tunnel in which his mother passed her last moments on this earth or snuck away. And remember, last time we talked, he said there wasn't any possible way that the accident was because the driver had been drunk. There just wasn't any way that could have been true. I mean, we couldn't ask him if he was drunk, so how do we even know if he was? Oh dear, Harry, have you ever heard of a blood test? You heard of that? Anyway, he says there was no possible way for that, and it was definitely the paparazzi, so quit blaming it on the guy who was, drinking and driving. It wasn't that guy's fault. So he tells the driver, go down that tunnel. You know where that tunnel is? I'll tell you where it is. And the driver's like, well, I mean, I know where it is, but I don't know if He says, well, I want you to go down it, and I want you to show me exactly where it happened. So the driver takes him down the tunnel, and it's nothing. It's just this straight, regular old tunnel. It's not like a big thing. It's not dark and twisty and turny. It's a regularly lit, short, straight tunnel. There is no reason, according to Harry, that there should have been an accident in this tunnel unless the driver had been being pursued hotly by the paparazzi. And he says that what he had learned is that the car was only going 65 miles an hour, and he wanted the driver to drive exactly at that speed, and he wanted to sort of reenact the night. Okay, so he says there wasn't any reason, and that you could have been blitzed out of your head and you would have been able to drive that distance. Well, he would know. So he says that it couldn't have been that the guy was drinking. The only reason that there was an accident was because of the demon paparazzi. But he says that he had gone down that tunnel hoping once again to be reminded, hoping once again to find hope that she had just disappeared. In the same way that he had worked it out when he had looked at the pictures from the files. He looked at those pictures and thought, I'm not deterred. These prove nothing. She looks fine. And so he went on believing for several more years that she had just disappeared. But there was something about going down this tunnel that sort of broke apart that fantasy. He says, it had been a very bad idea. I'd had plenty of bad ideas in my 23 years, but this one was uniquely ill-conceived. I told myself that I wanted closure, but I didn't really. Deep down, I'd hoped to feel in that tunnel what I'd felt when JLP gave me the police files. Disbelief. Doubt. Instead, that was the night all doubt fell away. She's dead, I thought. My God, she's really gone for good. I got the closure I was pretending to seek. I got it in spades. And now I'd never be able to be rid of it. Okay, well, he's never going to be able to be rid of the doubt. Now he knows she's dead. But what he's got instead is the grand prize of more things to be angry about. So now what he's got is a revitalized reason for outrage. Okay, now he gets to be angry all the time because Mummy really is dead. See, before he could live on the edge of anger because she disappeared, and where was she? And that was frustrating. But now she's really dead, and he knows who did it. The paparazzi. It's their fault. It's their fault he doesn't have a mother. So now he gets to drink more, he gets to rage more, he gets to abuse others. And you guys, we're coming to a passage where he just doesn't seem to have any wherewithal about the person he's describing. Guys, he wrote this book to tell us the man that he has become. I'm waiting to get to the part where he just becomes an adolescent. He is a toddler, okay? A toddler. These some tantrums that he's about to wage on those around him. So he says that night he was devastated by what suddenly he realized. I have no idea what it was about the tunnel that bestowed this truth on him, but something about the tunnel illuminated his understanding. He said it was close to 1 o'clock in the morning. The driver dropped me and Billy at a bar where I drank and drank. Some mates were there. I drank with them, and I tried to pick fights with several. When the pub threw us out, when Billy the Rock escorted me back to the hotel, I tried to pick a fight with him too. I growled at him, swung on him, slapped his head. He barely reacted. He just frowned like an ultra-patient parent. I slapped him again. I loved him, but I was determined to hurt him. He'd seen me like this before. Once, maybe twice, I'd heard him say to another bodyguard, "He's a handful tonight." "Oh, you don't want to see a handful? Here you go. Here's a handful." This is what he writes in this book, describing himself. The night, he's 23 years old, okay? He has had 11 years to realize that his mother is dead. 10 at the least. And it's his fault he hasn't come to this conclusion yet. Okay? You can make your little fantasy world when you're 12 going on 13 and you can't cope. Okay? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, he finally realizes his mom is dead. Okay, now you want to slap around your bodyguard because you finally came to the conclusion that mommy's not coming back? What the hell is wrong with this man? Is it the fault of your bodyguard that it took you so long, that you're so thick that 10 years later you're finally like, "Hey, mom's dead"? I am speechless. How can he act like this? And how can he write about it without any kind of regret that he would behave this way? Like, I can't believe that it took me this long to figure it out. And I was so abusive to the people around me because I was angry with myself for taking so long to come to this conclusion. But he does not own his behavior in the least. It's like he's owed this behavior. Like, since he just realized his mom's dead, he's allowed to be really mean and abusive. Because he just found out his mom's dead. 10 years later! Okay.